Okay, and hello everybody. We're back with our very first League of League basketball. First, I set the league so that there are no injuries. There is no team chemistry. And also we have switched the divisions a little bit. First, in the Eastern Division, you have the 2012 Miami Heat, the 85 Celtics. We have the 94 Magic. We have the current Los Angeles Lakers, the 97 Bulls, the 2004 Suns, and the 03 Pistons. We also have some of the other teams still currently in the East, like the 76ers, the current Cavs, and also the Wizards. In the West, we added the 86 Lakers. You have the 93 Rockets, the 03 Lakers. We have the 97 Jazz, the 2002 Mavericks, as well as the 97 Spurs and your 2015 Golden State Warriors. All right, let's go take a look at the teams. Okay. First up for the Magic, you have Penny Hardaway at guard. An 85 overall. This is one of his second year in the league, so he wasn't that good yet. But we do have a 92 Shaquille O'Neal, young, gets a lot of energy, plays a lot of minutes. Basically a stud. Then you have Horace Grant, you have Dennis Scott, and the choke of all time, Nick Anderson. The bench, it's garbage. Jonas Jerebko, I don't even know if that's accurate. Brian Shaw, man, that's old. They're horrible. I'd be lucky if I even come in close to first place. Okay, the 2002 Mavericks, you have Stephen Nash, the man, Nick Van Exel. This team can hit threes from deep. Michael Finley, he is only 82, and so is Nick Van Exel, but you do have the German Dirk Nowitzki. He is a 91 in this game. And then, of course, the 6'10" Space Jam, Sean Bradley. God, he's so big in this. That's amazing. You have a bunch of garbage bench players. All right, next up for the 03 Pistons, you have Chauncey Billups. He's an 89. You have the man Richard Hamilton. This team plays a lot. The guards play a lot of the minutes. There you can see they're 37 and 37. So basically they play the whole game. Then you have Corliss Williamson. I don't even know who the hell that is. God, this team is garbage. Lucky, what kind of team is this? Chandler Parsons, only a 73. He must have been young at this time. How old was he? Oh, he's 30. I don't know if that's accurate. And then the rebounding defensive player of the year, Ben Wallace. God, this guy is very good defensively. He's averaging, what is he averaging? He averaged 15, 12, a lot of rebounds per game. So that is your 2003 Pistons. All right, you now have a 93, 94 Rockets. You have Kenny the Jet Smith. God, he's horrible in this game. He's only a 76. You have Vernon Maxwell. Kenny the Jet Smith, by the way, also is the announcer for the games in NBA 2K if you don't have it. Robert Horry. This is Robert Horry when he was young, only 24. So he wasn't later on in the years when he's on the, I think it's the Lakers. He gets a lot better. You have Otis Thorpe. He's an 80 in this game. And of course, Hakeem Olajuwon, number first overall in the same draft as Michael Jordan. You have a good bench too with Sam Castle. He's a good little guard to put in there for Kenny the Jet. All right, now you have the Twin Towers, the 97-98 Spurs. You do have Avery Johnson. You're Vinny Del Negro, bunch of garbage guards, but they're good possession guys. Sean Elliott, he's a good three-point shooter as a starting forward. And then, of course, you have Tim Duncan and David the Admiral. I think that's the word I'm looking for. David Johnson and Tim Duncan, 88 and a 91. That will be a hard team to beat down low. And look at the bench. Michael Beasley. He is 30? God, I thought he was younger than this year. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you got the same as always. These benches are pretty weak for the old teams. All right, you have the 04-05 Suns, coached by young Matteo Barbero. You have MVP Steve Nash. So as you can see, this Steve Nash is a 95. A lot better than the Maverick Steve Nash with 87. You have Quentin Richardson, the Donkey Machine. Oh, my boy. Sean Marion. He was a stud this year. He was at 86. Amari Stoudemire, also a stud. He was at 89. And then you have Ekapi Udo. He was a nice little center. And then Leonardo Barbosa, the Brazilian. He's only 73, but I just like saying his name, so I said it. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to move on to the 2015-16 Warriors. I'm sure this team needs no introduction. God, this team is so much better than the other teams we've seen so far. Stephen Curry. He's a 97. God, what is his three-pointers in this year? Jeez. Okay. He is, let's see. He's a 95 rating for tendency. Where is his three-point shots? Where is it? Where are they? Oh, here we go. Three-point scoring, he's an A+. Mid-range scoring, A+, A+. Playmaking, A+. God, he's horrible at defense. That's not surprising. God, this guy is just going to tear it up. He has a bunch of, these are Hall of Fame badges. He has 9. Oh my God. This guy is going to light it up. You, of course, have Klay Thompson, who, again, is probably going to be just as good, if not, yep, A+ again, three-pointers. The average is not that high. Andre Iguodala, defense really high. I mean, I don't even know why I'm telling you guys these players. You guys know them all. Draymond Green, Andrew Bogut, Harrison Barnes, and then look, our boy Leonardo Barbosa. I'm just saying the name again because I like it. He's still just as shitty as he was 5 years earlier. But God, he's a long time in the league. Livingston, 0.1 and 0.2. Okay, don't really know how that happened. So I guess there's 2 Sean Livingstons. We're just gonna, yeah, I don't know. That's a little weird. I probably should change that. Okay, now the Bulls. Ron Harper at 79, but then Michael Jordan, maybe one of the greatest players of all time. God, you want to see some statistics? Check this guy out. He has 12 MVP, Hall of Fame badges. Shot tendency, he's a 99. He's a 99 mid-range tendency. He could basically, a jumper tendency, he's a 99. Jesus. He's a, look at the rating on the right, the shooting. He's basically like high in everything except for three-point shots. And even that, he's an A-. Playmaking, perimeter defense. Look at this. You forgot. He's one of the best defenders of all time as a guard, which is why he's probably one of the why he's considered the best basketball player of all time, because he can defend. You do have Scottie Pippen as well. Of course, Dennis Rodman, who could rebound better than anybody, and he's only 6'8", and yet he's one of the best rebounders of all time. Luke Longley, Tony Kukoc. Oh, there he is, the coach of the year, Steve Kerr. So obviously you can see this team is obviously heavy on the starters. You know them though, so it's not so surprised. Now you have the 85-86 Celtics. This is considered one of the best teams. You have Dennis Johnson, a good little guard. You have Danny Ainge, who went on to be a good coach for many years. He's also quite the baller. He wasn't that good in this game though. And of course, he needs no introduction, Larry Bird. The only reason Mike picked this team is because he's white and he's a white supremacist leader. I'm just kidding. But you do have Larry Bird. As you can see, he was an overall stud. He's a 97 overall. I think that is the second best. We have Michael Jordan's a 98. Then you have Bird. Oh, no, Elijah one might have been a little higher too. I forgot. But look at this. Kevin McHale. God, how tall is that guy? He looks tall in that picture. Oh, he's 6'10". Damn, he's huge. He's only 210 pounds. Us white boys, we need to put more weight on. Robert Parrish. So one's 6'10". This guy's 7 feet. Larry Bird's 6'9". God, that's a big ass team. And then Bill Walton off the bench at 6'11". Jesus, those guys are just huge. My God. All right, we're moving on to the Heat. Okay. Oh, first Asian guy, Jeremy Lin. Of course, you have Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, and then of course you have LeBron James, who is probably one of the best overall players in the game. He's just really, really good and everything. He's not the best at, let's say, like three-pointing or passing, but he's just like really, really good at everything. Obviously, he's a 98, so there's really nothing to say other than that. He's really good defense, offensive. Yeah, he's good at everything. He just can't shoot free throws, I guess. God, this guy is like, he's just a good player. You do have Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was, 29 at the time. And then off the bench, you do have Ray Allen, who can drain threes from deep, and Rashad Lewis. That's a pretty good bench, actually, which I think that this team is probably going to be one of the favorites. Just because their bench is really good and very balanced team between, a good guard and Jeremy Lin's good at passing. LeBron James is a great, he's a great overall player. And he actually, in this system, he will drive the ball up as a guard. Okay, let's go to the Jazz. Stockton to Malone. Good 1-2 punch, obviously. John Stockton, Karl Malone. I don't think they need introduction. If you were born anywhere before 1990, you know who they are. You also have Jeff Hornacek, Byron Russell. If you've watched the documentary, he gets punked by Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan makes him his bitch. Greg Ostertag, that looks like a Mike Price kind of player. Shandon Anderson. What a horrible bench. Ooh, this team's going to be hurting. Okay, I did turn injuries off if I did not say that yet. So if I didn't say that, injuries are off, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, 86-87 Lakers. I think this is the #1 ranked team. Yeah, so as you can see already off the bat, you have a 98 Magic Johnson. He really good at driving the ball, good at passing the ball as well and playing defense. Let me see something. Okay, so he's not the best 3-point shooter. He's still a B+, which, God, we don't even say anything about that. These players that are 98 overalls, I mean, they're just studs. Yeah, he's an A+ in basketball IQ, athleticism, that means like speed and stuff like that. Playmaking, so he's a good playmaker, obviously. You do have Byron Scott as well. You have James Worthy. James Worthy, a former #1 overall pick, also ended up being very good. You have AC Green. I don't even know who this is. God, that picture's so old. But he was young at this time. Then you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This was when he was 40 years old. And as you can see, at 40 years old, he's still a 94 overall. The guy is a stud. I actually don't know if he was 40 at this time or if this is incorrect. But regardless, I think he might have been 40. He was a stud. He can't hit threes, but who cares? He can do everything else. And if you play the game, oh man, off the bench you have an 86 Michael Cooper. Oh, that's a good bench. Anytime you have good players over 80 off the bench, you're going to do pretty good. If you ever play this game, though, and use Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's like impossible to rebound over. He's so damn good. It's so annoying. Okay. Now let's go to the 03 Lakers. You do have old man Gary Payton. He still was pretty good at this time. He was, though, 36. I do think that's pretty accurate as far as what they have for age. You have a young Kobe Bryant. I think he was 26. Okay, at the time, as you can see, Kobe Bryant, I mean, you know how he is. He was amazing at dunking. He can, anytime he got even close within the key, he was going to score. And just like that shows, he's still very good at defense as well. You do have Rick Fox. God, he kind of looks like a monkey to me. I don't know why. You just look at that jaw. It's so big. It's so weird. All right, you also have Karl Malone, old man Karl Malone. So he's a 41 at this time. I know that is accurate, as you can see. So he's still pretty good. And anytime Karl Malone is one of your players as like maybe, let's see, the 4th best player in your team, you have a pretty good team. They did win the championship, obviously, this year. You do have, in his prime, Shaquille O'Neal. Not as fast athleticism, but it has to do with defense or anything around the rim. Anything around the rim, he's going to score. He's going to defend. He's going to be one of the best. You do have Devon George. I think he was a high overall pick, if I remember correctly. He was drafted. Oh, he was just a first rounder. I thought he was higher than that, but he sucks, and he never lived up. Byron Russell. I don't know how this guy ends up being on these teams. And Horace Grant. They're like on so many championship teams or good teams, and they just suck. But that's a really good bench, actually. Luke Walton, too. Damn, that's a deep bench. And Derek Fisher? Oh, wow. So that's a really, really deep bench, actually. They might be my favorites. All right, let's move on to the current Lakers. All right, obviously garbage. Avery Bradley, Danny Green. I don't care what anybody says, they're both garbage. But the best two top players on any team in this whole game, you have LeBron James in 97, Anthony Davis in 96. Now, those two together are better than any of the two players on one team. They're not the best overall team, but they're damn good, those two. And there is no injuries, so that does play in their favor. And this team does have a very balanced team with a bench, so they're going to be a lot better than you think. So you have Kuzma, Rondo, Howard, and Caldwell Pope all coming off the bench, which is very, very, very good compared to some of the benches that you see. I think I did my garbage magic already. Okay, so that is it. That is the beginning of this video. So next we'll check in after the All-Star break and to see what everything is happening. Okay, we're back at the halfway All-Star break, and we are going to see the All-Star teams. So Karl Malone from the 97 Jazz drafted one team, and the Miami Heat LeBron James drafted the other. As you can see, Karl Malone drafted LeBron James, the current one, Hakeem Olajuwon, and he has Kobe Bryant from 2003, and he actually has the 03 Steve Nash. He also has a current Kevin Durant, the current Chris Paul. He has the 2015 Stephen Curry, the current Kyrie, the 2003 Dirk, the 1994 Shaquille O'Neal, and the current Nikola Jokic. Okay, the Miami Heat LeBron James drafted Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and the 2003 Shaquille O'Neal. Now that team is deadly. Deadly. He also has some good power behind him with David Robinson, current Anthony Davis, current Damian Lillard, 18-time old man Kareem Abdul-Jabbar still makes it. Dwayne Wade, Joel Embiid, current Joel Embiid, I think. Yeah, I think so. And Chauncey Billups from the Pistons. God, he really wasn't that good. All right, let's go to see the standings. All right. You have, to start off in the East, you have the current Lakers, and you have the current Nets. Now, the Nets always end up being good in this game because when Kevin Durant is actually healthy and playing, I turn off injuries like I said earlier. Kevin Durant just lights it up every single game of every single year I play in this stupid game. I don't know how my Magic made it, but they're here, the 94 Magic, current Raptors, current 76ers, then followed by the Suns 04, the 12 Heat, and the 97 Bulls. Now, I'm going to guess as this game goes on, these three teams are probably going to move up. I would imagine that the Magic would fall and the Raptors, and the 76ers might fall, but I would imagine at the end of it, the Lakers, the Nets, and then maybe the Heat and the Bulls. My Magic usually don't do that well. You do have the Celtics and the Pistons, which I do assume the Celtics would move up. I don't know about the Pistons. They have a good balanced team, but don't have a really good one player. And that usually in this game does better. And then that's the East. In the West, you have the two Lakers teams, of course. They're young guards. They're at the time. They're stud players. They're really good. You have the Denver Nuggets, current. They have a good balanced team, and they do good in real life, so that makes sense. Dirk-led Mavericks with young Steve Nash. So you can see that they're here. They're not that far behind. I don't know how this is the case with the Thunder and the Kings. So I'm going to guess that after time, the Warriors will easily pass these teams up. I would imagine the Warriors end up being the 4th seed at the end of this in the West. And then, as you can see, what happens in this game, you have the 97 Jazz and you have the 97 Spurs and 93 Rockets. They're down towards the bottom because they basically just have good post players. You have Karl Malone on the Jazz, you have Johnson and David Robinson and Tim Duncan on the Spurs, and you have Hakeem Olajuwon on the Rockets. So why is they're all very good players? As you can see with their points per game only being 97 and 103, that doesn't compete in today's league, which is 114, 111. So, you know, like 116 from the Nuggets, that's a current team. 110 from the Thunder, that's a current team. Even 114 from the Kings, that's a current team. So as you can see, you have to kind of have high-scoring teams, and those teams that have good defenses with good post players might have done good in real life, but I don't think they're going to fare too well in this game. Now, individual players, you could see we have, to no surprise, this is probably accurate, the 97 Michael Jordan, averaging 35 points a game, averaging 5 assists and 5 rebounds. Kobe Bryant, almost identical to him. Then you get into the big guys who are by themselves. Look at this. You have Hakeem Olajuwon averaging 31 points and 20 rebounds per game. Wow, that is stellar. Karl Malone, too, just draining them. Current Trae Young, Stephen Curry, just draining threes. You have the LeBron James from the Heat. He's doing really well. Kyrie Irving. You have Shaquille O'Neal averaging a 15-15. Current LeBron James. Old school Larry Bird averaging, he's almost a double-double player, but he's doing really good balance. As you can see, though, just down the list, you see some other players that really aren't surprising. They're all doing well. You know, you can see right here, Magic Johnson is averaging actually a double-double in assists as well as points. Let's actually see who is averaging the most rebounds per game. Is Hakeem Olajuwon, then Dennis Rodman, and Shaquille O'Neal, Ben Wallace, Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal again, Tim Duncan, Kevin McHale. Not surprising, any of those. Assists, not surprising here. Magic Johnson from the 86. You have the MVP Steve Nash on the Suns. He's averaging 11, so he's a double-double too. John Stockton is a double-double, but he's only averaging 14 points a game, so it's not that good. And then look at this. This is why the Mavericks are doing so good. The 03 Steve Nash, which is an 87 overall. This is a 96 overall Steve Nash. He's averaging 23 points a game and 9 assists, compared to just 18 and 11. It's still close, but you can see that that's probably why the Mavericks are holding on right now to this. And then the only player that is almost a triple-triple would be the 2003 LeBron James. He's averaging 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. I don't think anybody else is that close. Oh, Draymond Green is very close, not that far off, actually. And then Nicola's not that far off. Yeah, so nobody else is really that close. So here we are. That's a half point, and I think that is it for this video. So, oh nope, we can do power rankings. That would be power rankings. Power rankings will go by 2K's power rankings because it's the most accurate, because it's the game, so it's most likely going to be done probably close to how it ends. You have all 3 Lakers teams, all high power offenses. Then you have the Magic, Raptors, Nuggets, Mavericks, Nets. You have the Heat and the Celtics, the Bulls and the Suns. Now if I'm to guess, these 3 Lakers teams will stay there. I'm going to guess that the Magic, the Raptors, and the Nuggets will probably move down, and one of these 4 teams, the Bulls, the Celtics, or the Heat, will pass all these teams. I do think the Mavericks and the Nets will always be kind of in this range. I don't think they'll move up anymore, but I can see any of these 4 teams, the Celtics, the Heat, the Bulls, and the Suns, just out of nowhere just start winning a lot of games. And then we go down a little further. The Warriors will not stay here. They probably had a rough schedule at first. The Warriors will be in the top 10, definitely. They'll definitely move into this range right here. They started off kind of rough, it looks like. Unfortunately, I do think the Jazz will stick in this range. Only having Karl Malone doesn't do a lot. The Pistons have a good balanced team, but again, there's no superstar. Ben Wallace is not a superstar. He can't even score. He's a good defender. It's basically having, like, you know, a bunch of shitty players, and then Dennis Rodman is your best player. Yeah, I compare Dennis Rodman to Ben Wallace. And then, unfortunately, we can see in these simulation things that, again, the Spurs and the Rockets having the post players, they just can't win in today's era. So they will not be, I think they're going to stay in the bottom. So Sean and Kevin, yeah, it's a pleasure to know you guys. So that is this league and that team. And that is all for today's video. Okay, we're back to the end of the video. We're going to sim through the rest of the season. Ooh, let's get a little glimpse of what's going on. All right, so we're finishing off the season, so we're going to see some MVP awards and stuff like that. And your most valuable player is from the 2003 Los Angeles Lakers, Shaquille O'Neal. 26 points, 16 rebounds. Wow, that is deadly. Rookie of the Year is Ja Morant. Hey, OJ, look. If this was our fantasy league, you'd be a stud in this. Okay, then you have Sixth Man of the Year, DeMarcus Cousins, playing on the Timberwolves. I don't know how that happened. I have trades turned off. I don't really understand. Is he on the Timberwolves and I just don't know this? Maybe he is. Oh, he's probably a free agent and they signed him. Stupid. Defensive Player of the Year is the 1995 my Orlando Magic, Shaquille O'Neal. Look at that stat right there. Most improved. Look at that, Andrew. Your Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wow, that's good. Almost 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. God, move over. Russell Westbrook. Coach Year, Dustin Bayless. I'm sure you guys know who this is. I don't, so I can't even tell you what team he's on. Great. All right, let's go on to first team All-NBA. You have from your 1997 Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. Then you have Kobe Bryant from your 2003 Lakers, Karl Malone from your 97 Jazz. Then you have LeBron James from the Heat and Shaquille O'Neal from your 2003 Lakers again. So the 2003 Lakers have 2 first-team players. God, they're probably really good in this. You could see that's pretty good. That's what I would imagine is probably the best players in the NBA in this kind of league in today's kind of game. Second team, you have Magic Johnson from the 86 Lakers. You have Stephen Curry, Larry Bird, another LeBron James, and Hakeem Olajuwon. Again, no surprises here. Again, these are all one of the better players in the league. So NBA 2K does a good job of simulating and making things accurate. All NBA third team, my boyfriend, Penny Hardaway. I could just stare at this all day. I love you, Penny. Penny, I love you. Trae Young, that's a little surprising, but he probably busted out threes all day. Current Anthony Davis, Tim Duncan, and the other Shaquille O'Neal. So a good defensive player, but not the best offensive, it looks like. All right, defensive team. Again, no surprise, Michael Jordan and the LeBron James and Dwayne Wade from your Heat made it. Draymond Green, again, he was the defensive player this year. He made it in real life. And Shaquille O'Neal's defensive player in the game this year, and he made it. So this is pretty accurate. I'm sure Jordan was one of the defensive players that year. Second team, you can see you got some of the good defensive players that maybe you haven't seen who aren't good offensively. Stockton, Pippen, and Murray all are there. And then the rookies, Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Brandon Clark, and Michael Porter Jr. So nobody really cares about the rookies. All right. Okay. Now we are in the playoffs. All right. So if you look, the 1 seed is going to be the 2004 Lakers versus the current Portland Trail Blazers. You have the 2003 Dallas Mavericks as the 4 seed. So they actually held on to that position. So it was actually really, really impressive that they were able to hold on to that against the current Oklahoma Thunder. I can't believe Sacramento held on to this. That is unbelievable. And the Denver Nuggets are the 3 seed. That's, understandable. Okay, here is a good week 1 matchup. You have the 87 Lakers versus the 16 Warriors. So you're the 2 Lakers teams. You have Lucky's Dallas Mavericks made it. And then that is all that came out of this division. the East now. If we go over to the the East division, that was the West. This is the East. You have the current Lakers, who are the 1 seed, versus the 86 Celtics as the 8 seed. Now this matchup is going to be great to watch, and we'll have game highlights. If the games are close, I will get that in the next video to see what it's like, unless it's a blowout. So if the series is like not close, I won't. We'll just simulate it and we'll see what happens. But if it's close and towards the end of the game, I'll get you guys some highlights so we can watch that stuff. But that'll be a good week 1 matchup. You have the current Sixers and the Toronto Raptors. Oh, it looks like the 95 Magic are going to take on the 13 Heat. So you can see the Heat were lower. They kept moving up. So this one scares me. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this upset. I don't, you know, again, I'm still surprised the Magic have done this good. They usually are not this good in this game. The Brooklyn Nets. Okay, now, if I'm to guess, again, Kevin Durant is the man of all mans in this game. He's the 2 seed. Remember, I told you he was lower at the beginning of the video and halfway through the year. He moved up to the 2 seed. I guarantee you the Nets will be in the championship game. I can almost guarantee it. They'll face somebody, unless somehow the Suns can stop them, which would be really cool. I just don't think that that is that reasonable. It usually doesn't happen. So as you can see, that is how it ended up. It looks like, if I can look up the teams that missed the playoffs, are going to be the Bulls. Missed it by 1 game. I can't believe they choked that away. I think Michael Jordan can't do everything alone. That's unfortunate because he is a stud. The Pistons, like I said, they probably would have made it. They didn't, unfortunately. But most of the teams in the East made it, it looks like. In the West, the teams that didn't make it were not the surprising teams. The teams that we feared wouldn't make it. The teams with the post players, right? The Jazz, the Rockets, and the Spurs, they didn't make it in the West. But every other team made it. So surprisingly, you know, the only people who missed out, you have, I am sorry, Lucky, but you're 2003 Pistons. I'm sorry, Sean, but you're 93 Rockets. I'm sorry, Derek, you're 97 Jazz. And I'm sorry, Kevin, your Spurs sucked. Like, really bad. I bet you that the Spurs with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, the 2000 and I don't know what team that is, 2008 Spurs, I bet you that they would have been a better pick. But I do like the 97 Spurs more. But it's not the way the game's played. All right, so that is how we are here. And again, we are going to be simulating the playoffs. So I will be back with that video as soon as I can.